pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Almighty and everlasting God, who presides over all things in heaven and earth, come and preside over these deliberations so that those that make the decisions may be guided by your wisdom. Roll call.
Roll call, Mr. Belishko.
Here.
Mrs. McClay.
Here.
Mr. Mirren.
Here.
Mr. Brooks.
Here.
And Mr. Barrett is excused. Also in attendance is Mayor George Brown. I'm here. Controller Tony Thomas. Administrator Charlie McCormick. Finance Officer Brian Swets. Assistant City Attorney Maureen Collins. Assistant City Clerk Tracy Smith. Administrative Assistant Lisa Sanfilippo. Good evening and welcome to tonight's regular session. Please turn off all cell phones. Following are examples of some important council rules. They are not intended to be a complete list. Please adhere as closely as possible to the 5-minute speaker presentation time limit. No persons are allowed to address the council from beyond the rail, except the speaker at the dais who has the floor. Chairperson shall preserve order and decorum and prevent attacks on personalities. Chairperson shall determine all points of order. No person except city officers or the representatives shall be permitted within the rail during the meeting without the express permission of council. Council kindly asks the public please vacate the building within 10 minutes after the meeting adjourns. And finally, when members of the administration are speaking, please stand up and speak into the microphone.
All right, go next.
Pending legislation.
Sure. Welcome to the October 24th City Council regular voting session. There are 3 items on the agenda. Is there anyone who wishes to speak to the pending items on the current agenda? Yes, Mr. Choi.
We'd like to get a little extra time, but that's not feasible, right? Concerning the sale of the tax claims, from what I understand, these are tax claims that are from both residences and business. Overdue taxes, I guess, is that it? I mean, there should be some there should be an elaboration as to what this, has this ever been done before by the city? It has. And what's the, is it because we're just, they say we, I mean the city is kind of throwing its hands up and saying we can't get, these are for delinquent accounts, right?
Correct.
Mostly, all? It's all delinquent.
Correct.
See, it should say that, it doesn't say it. It's just tax claims. So it's for delinquent accounts from this fiscal year, 2024, and the anticipated tax claims. So is there, who is the beneficiary? I mean, who is the city selling to? Berkheim or something like that? Or, so I guess it wouldn't be Berkheim, I guess something.
That was in there.
You have and what's how much is it going to cost the city? I mean, they're going to take a commission, right? Obviously.
When you're done, I'll have you answer your questions.
Okay, that's all I have to say about that. I'd like to know what the commission is, who it's being sold to, what was the rationale for this sort of thing. This city has a pretty sizable bureaucracy. I wonder if maybe the assignment of, was an effort made to collect these delinquent accounts? Was it best foot forward put? I mean, we're just throwing up our hand. I mean the city. Okay, so my majority of my time, I just wanted to devote to the appointment of Mr. Velasco and Mr. Latinsky, who is, I guess, not here. So I want to speak against the appointments, and this is nothing personal against Mike or Phil, whom I know very well and I respected a great deal because he was very close to my dad when he was principal of GAR. My dad taught there for a few years. So my point is, I think that, first of all, I don't think a council person should be on the sanitary authority. I don't know if Maureen or Tim is familiar with the charter. I assume that's consistent with the charter's boundaries and parameters, that it's okay to do that. Mike, first of all, what I understand is that you have been absent for several, 6 out of 12 or something in that meeting. What is your motive for being on? I would like to know, to what extent have you represented Wilkes-Barre's interests? Because I'm talking specifically, as you know, I have a very skeptical outlook as far as this grain tax is concerned. Have you yourself made any effort to mitigate? This is a financial burden that is just, I'll tell you one thing, for me, it's tough enough. For somebody like Mr. Carr here who owns, I don't know how many properties in the city, it's staggering what this grain tax is costing. And the bottom line here, where is the rain, how much, you had a presentation here the other night. I heard part of it. I didn't hear the whole thing. The various projects going on in all parts of the county, in all the 32 municipalities. A lot of projects going on specifically to mitigate the flow of sediment, I guess. Am I correct in that? Mm-hmm. Into the but he's the one who represents them. He's on the authority. Does he know this? So what is, I'd like to know the bottom line here is how much progress has this authority made in the mitigation? Why, this was handed down from the EPA. I understand this action was ordered by the EPA to do this. Why does the financial burden have to fall on us? Now, this has been going on for 7 years. I talked to Mr. What's his name? The director. And there's a specific director of the rain tax aspect, the rainwater fee, the stormwater fee department. What's his name again? I forgot. But anyway, I talked to him specifically. He admitted there was not a lot of significant progress made in this mitigation of the sediment flowing in the river. So why in God's name, are we being burdened this for the last 7 years, and why is it going to continue to go on in perpetuity? I mean, is it going to go on forever and ever? I think if you're going to stay on there, and I'm sure that my words aren't going to do any good, but I don't think these people should be reappointed if they're not going to do something to stop this tax, to at least alleviate it, proportionate. If there's a lot of progress going on in Hanover or Kingston or wherever, why should Wilkes-Barre pay a lot of money? Why should we pay the same amount as they are? This should be proportionate.
All right,
Something should be done. Okay, I guess I'm out of time, so I have to.
All right, Mr. Troy, God, we're really sorry because we had a whole presentation that would answered all of your questions.
Sorry, I can't hear you, Mr.
We had a whole presentation yesterday on Tuesday. We answered all of your questions. I'm going to go in order. Mr. Sweats, you remember his questions to answer any of them on the tax issue?
Yeah, sure. So this is not new. This has been at least the last 5 or 6 years, if not longer. It's municipal revenue services. I do not know the percentage. I don't know the percentage.
Mr. Troy, this is our finance director.
I don't know the percentage of the collection of, but it's municipal revenue service and it's not new. And it's just 2024 taxes that we will give turnover at the beginning of 2025.
Correct. Thank you, Mr. Sweats. Mr. Blishko, do you care to make any?
Sam, the meetings, I wasn't there. I called in. When I was in the hospital in Healing, I couldn't attend them, so I was calling in. What else did you ask? Oh, the stormwater thing? That started before I got on. I don't have any way, a one-man vote, to change it and stop it. I know it's a little under $5 a month is what it boils down to. I think it's like $14.80 for the average home. What else did you ask?
$16 a quarter, Mike, I'm paying, something like that.
No, I think it's 15 something or 14 something per quarter. Yeah, which is a little under $5.
To me, it's burdensome. Maybe not to you, maybe not to some other people, but to me, it's burdensome. To a lot of other people, it is. But why is it necessary? Can you answer that? Have you tried to mitigate it?
It's not. It's a federal thing that was mandated. If the city had to do it on their own, that's why there's 32 municipalities doing it. If the city had to do it on their own,
It's a federal mandate.
Mr. Troy, let
Yes.
Mr. Belisco speak.
if the city had to do it on their own, the fee would be around $400 per resident.
I didn't get that.
It would be hundreds of dollars. By having the sanitary authority doing it for all 32 municipalities, cost was able to be down that low.
Well, can I answer that?
Okay.
I understand there's
No
not
back and,
gonna be
Mr. Troy, no back and forth. When you come back for your public comments, you can do that. Thank you, Mr. Troy. Is there anyone else want to speak on the 3 items of pending legislation? Mr. Carr.
Hi, Mr. Brooks, Jason Carr, Sailorsburg, Pennsylvania. If I go over, I know you'll let me continue. You just heard Councilman Belisco say that the line, everyone is so prone to lying here, the mayor, his administrator, council, they don't know when to stop lying. It is amazing.
Mr. Carr, stay on the agenda,
Right,
please.
so you just heard Mike Belasco talk about how he participated in meetings from his hospital bed, like George did. But if you look, I went back for the last year and looked at the Wyoming Valley Sanitary Authority board meeting minutes, and Mr. Latinsky, I believe he was a janitor at JR High School, he owes Sam an apology because he was here maybe 3 months ago carrying on about how Sam was wrong, and Mike's a studious person, attending all these meetings. So I went back and looked at all the board meeting minutes from a year ago. October of 2023, Mike Belasco did not attend. November of 2023, Mike Belasco did not attend. February of 2024, Mike Belasco did not attend. March 2024, Mike Belasco did not attend. June 2024, Mike Belasco did not attend. August 2024, Mike Belasco did not attend. 6 meetings, 6 out of 12 in the last year, he did not attend. It did indicate on 2 of the meeting minute notes that Mike Belasco did attend by phone call. So what is the truth? Because the constant, no one knows when to stop. Mike had no idea. Mike thought he could lie today. But according to the meeting minutes that have been approved by the board of directors, state otherwise, untrue. So I wonder, maybe, I always see Mike down at the Riverside Cafe. Like clockwork, 12 o'clock every day. So I said, well, the meetings start at 5 o'clock. And I think maybe Mike, maybe he attended some of these meetings, or maybe he doesn't want to attend them because maybe he's had a few drinks at the Riverside Cafe.
Mr. Carr, you have insulted this gentleman way too many times.
Right, as he has me. You remember that?
He seems to be really quiet right now.
Yeah, do you remember that?
Mr. Carr, you have anything else to add? We know what your position is on this item.
I would like to know from, Councilman Belasco, if he can articulate why he should be reappointed.
Wow, he is a
Cruel
and mean.
Mr. Chairman, what is wrong with asking someone to articulate and explain why they should be placed back on a seat? Why? What's wrong with that? It was a big joke on Tuesday, wasn't it? When Mike everybody was laughing. Big joke that Mike talked about Sam not being here. Everybody was laughing, right? Big joke. Because Sam wants to know where $9 million a year goes from the sanitary authority. Do you know how much I pay? A lot of money. Much more than you, as you already know. It's not a joke. People just want answers. Most of the time you get to sit there, on a Tuesday you get to sit there and make fun of people, make fun of people in the public, have a good laugh at it, and no one's here to respond. I'm here to respond to that. Tell me what was so funny on Tuesday. Why can't Councilman Belasco explain to us why he deserves to be on the seat again? Why doesn't Mr. Latinsky apologize for lying, defending something that he knew was untrue, unless Mike Stokes was at the meetings? It's not a joke, Tony. Wake up. Right? You tell me. Are you guys going to run Linda Joseph up here again at me? Huh? You and Mike? You want to do that again? I know you don't want to. And you can shake your head at me. It's meaningless. I'm asking for answers. Sit there again and don't say anything. That's fine with me.
Waiting till you're done, you have 5
I know.
minutes.
I'll stand there for 10 more seconds. It's always a joke. It's a big joke. And Mike cannot respond.
So the answers to Sam Troy was on Tuesday. Any response?
No.
Good. Anyone else want to speak on pending legislation? Okay, we'll move into,
Oh, John wants.
oh, Mr. Skoski?
John Sonoski, Owen Lane. My question is just like, okay, Mr. Blushko is going for this position. Is it a conflict of interest for him to vote for himself? That's all I have.
The resolution is listed separately.
Resolution says separately, so you'll see in 2 minutes, or a second. Technically, it's not. Technically, it's not, right?
No, I was able
No,
to.
I know, but he could if he wanted to. It's not, right?
I probably deferred not
Right, I
to.
would, not- right.
Yeah, I had checked, Tony, I had checked with Tim.
I know why, yeah, exactly, okay. Go ahead.
So we ready?
Yep, go ahead.
All right, so we'll start the voting, and the first is the resolution appointing Mr. Belishko to the Wyoming Valley Sanitary Authority. Need a motion and a second.
Motion?
Motion by Mr. Mirren,
Second.
second by Mrs. McClay. Mr. Belishko,
Abstain?
Mrs. McClay,
Yes.
Mr. Mirren,
Yes.
Mr. Brooks.
Yes,
And we'll take the two resolutions, one appointing Phil Latinsky, the other on the tax claims and the minutes as a consent agenda. Need a motion and a second.
Motion?
Motion by Mr. Belishko,
Second.
second by Mrs. McClay. Mr. Belishko?
Yes.
Mrs. McClay?
Yes.
Mr. Mirren?
Yes.
Mr. Brooks?
yes.
And that is...
Good, all right, council presentations, Councilman Belishko,
Nothing today, Mr. Brooks.
Councilwoman McClay.
Actually, I think I'm good today.
We had a lot on Tuesday.
I had sent a lot of emails.
That's right. Councilman Mirren?
Yeah, so we covered everything we had to on Tuesday and through emails as well.
Wonderful, thank you. Public discussion, Mr. Carr.
Open comments by council.
Well, Jason Carso,
How are you feeling?
a great compliment. The most intelligent person, behind this gate is Mr. Sweats, and if he could possibly confirm, because it's been an
Kind of
ongoing
scattered.
situation within the city budget with the mayor, as Beth Gilbert constantly reminds me that the mayor deceives and lies constantly. Can Brian just confirm that there is about a $2 million structural deficit
That's personal attack.
inside the city budget? We know that, or it's been confirmed, actually through the 2025 budget, because the mayor took $6 billion of American Rescue Plan funds and banked them the first year, and then used them for the next 2 or 3 years to fill that gap of about $2 million. This year, in 2025, there's a tax anticipation note that is being executed for that amount of money. So I was just wondering, at what point do we come to grips with it, and what is being done to address the situation? I know Brian, again, very smart gentleman, the ultimate compliment I can give somebody, and I know he knows, but I don't know if the mayor will allow him to say. We've been waiting for Tony Thomas to give a quarterly report, which he stated he would do about 6 months ago, and he's fallen quiet. So at some point, either the city controller or the finance director, or maybe even the mayor, could confirm that there's about a $2 million shortfall in the budget. I could call you maybe tomorrow, Tony, and talk about it, but I was wondering if you could give us any insight, because I'm not sure if they're going to talk to us tonight. Because it is pretty serious when you think about the hard times that the city, the residents of the city find themselves in with skyrocketing inflation. How do you remediate that $2 million deficit? How long is the tax anticipation note going to be outstanding? How much is it going to cost the citizens? And at what point in the budget for 2026, are we going to have to raise taxes? Are there any assets to sell? What do we do? It's a really simple question, but this $2 million number continues to linger for the last 4 years. So what do you think? If you'd be kind enough to answer. Because I don't know if Mr. Swift is allowed to talk.
Are you finished? Good. I have the same concerns that you have, and I can't wait till the budget address, or the hearings that we have, and I hope you also bring those considerations up. Is there anything you want to offer, Mr. Swets? No? Very good. Thank you, sir. Mr. Franco.
Thank you very much. I'm Steve Franco, a landlord in various parts of the city, and there's a property on Hudson Street, which I'm considering buying.
I can't hear you.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. There's a property I'm considering buying, and when I was speaking with the property manager, he indicated that the next door house was a drug house and an unlicensed management company, so on and so forth. And I'm just here, I know that's a battle the city fights in a lot of places. I know these unlicensed management companies and all that are hard. First of all, I'm willing to do whatever my company can to help. But also, who in the city could I go to say, hey, listen, this is the rumor I have, because I want to buy the 7 unit, but at no point it's fully empty because she said she can't keep tenants. So I'm not sure who in the city I can go to and say, well, what is there available? And also, if there's any other real estate, transactions, please let us know. When you know when I them, RFPs or whatever, we love to help in any way we can. We do want to do more development. But my real question is, I'd like to pick the 7 up. I just don't know what the city can do to chase down, to do something.
Right. Okay. We'll talk to you afterwards. How many properties you own in the city? You have quite a few, and you're doing...
Well, between ownership and management, it's probably like 30 units.
Good.
Or something.
I know of many of them, and you...
Our management company just crossed 60 units last week, so
Good.
we're growing fast.
Thank you, Steve. Angel Mathis? Oh.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Angel Mathis, Wilkes-Barre. The first thing I have on the list is parking, because the most annoying thing since I started driving again, I noticed is instead of people actually parking where there's parking, they literally just jump out of the car in the parking lane and leave their cars there. And specifically in your district, Toby, there's a lot of little lanes. And someone's gonna die. But the other thing is, I gotta call you for the no parking signs on Stanton. Me? Yeah, yes. Okay. And then the other thing is the quality of life issues. I understand you guys raised the fees, if that already has the second reading. But there's a big issue. I thought it was just on South Franklin where, I lived on what looked like the poorest block in the city that looked like it was straight out of the poorest section of Philadelphia, and nothing was ever done, and John can actually verify that. But now I'm finding is that the trash issue is everywhere. And, and with that, it kind of becomes what absentee landlords that don't even live in the state, that don't care whether the residents put out trash, and the trash is being stored, and what happens is, like being downtown, when I saw the rat that ran across, that was like a New York City rat. It seems like that's just gonna be something that we're gonna have to live with. Mice and rats everywhere because it's just trash everywhere. As council, I know you can pass as many ordinances as you can, but on the city enforcement, even though I do think housing inspections should be paramount, but can something be done about all the excessive trash that just don't make it into the landfill?
So if you have anything in your neighborhood, call me about the trash, and we'll take care of that right away. Any comments you have, Charlie or Mayor? Anything else you said? No, good. John Sikorsky.
John Sosky, Almond Lane, just going back to the question. So Mr. Blishko abstained, so is that telling me that that is a conflict of interest? Because I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but like when Mr. Blishko was first placed on that board, did he or did he not break a tie to get himself on the board? So, I don't know, I've seen a problem with conflicts of interest among this board, so I just want to know, like, is that an admission that that was a conflict of interest that I abstained this time, but I believe the last time he voted for himself to break a tie to get himself on that board? And is there any repercussions that he voted himself, you know, if that was a conflict of interest? Ms. McClay, at the work session I watched, you said that you guys went to tour DPW. Here's the better thing. You guys should follow the garbage trucks around and see what actually is happening on the streets, because I guarantee you see more of the back of the garbage truck than you guys will see in a month. You know, we can see more in one day than you guys could actually see in a month, just because we see every house, every street, we see everything. Mr. Carr was saying about like you guys laughing and stuff. That looks very unprofessional when you guys are laughing. Like when I was walking out, Miss Payne was like, you could hear her, you watch the video, she's there laughing. Like it's extremely unprofessional. You know, you guys are actually supposed to be working here. It's not like fun and games. I know you guys act like this is just your personal little space where you can do whatever you want, but I think you guys should kind of act professional. Thank you.
I want to respond.
High schoolers.
So John, I want to respond on the DPW. I don't want to tour I know what you guys do, I know what you do. I come Wednesday, I'm sending a gazillion emails because I travel around and see the garbage out. I want to see the equipment. I want to see the repairs that need to be done, because I toured the fire department. He gave me a great tour. He told me what was going to be needed. When he came for the washing machine, I knew exactly what he was talking about. I want to do that with the DPW, and I want to do that with the police as well. So it makes it a little bit, when they do come here, I'm like, yeah, I saw that they do need it. But I do know what you do. Obviously, on a daily. Yeah, it's a difficult job, but that is the reason I want to tour the DPW.
I think everybody should do it, not just you. Like you have way more knowledge than everybody else.
Yeah.
Obviously.
We all plan on touring it as well.
But
As council.
follow the truck around for a day, preferably Tuesday or Wednesday.
Yeah.
Mr. Troy?
Sam Troy, I want to just continue on a couple of points about this stormwater fee too. Sorry, but a touchy subject now, right, Mike? But I'll tell you, I may sound like a cynic, and I guess to a certain extent I am, but it's a great word, isn't it?
Right.
I think that the whole thing is really a scam. And I'm not saying anybody's, culpable in that here or anything. But what I mean by a scam was a mandate handed down from the federal government. It seems to me that there have been a lot of arbitrary decisions made here by the sanitary authority and the participating municipalities, of which there are, 32? And the figure was mentioned before, $9 million in revenue. Mr. McCarskey wrote an article, it was some time ago, concerning the revenues, the so-called revenues that were generated from this stormwater tax. And according to this article, if I'm not mistaken, equipment was bought, property was bought, people were hired. Okay, there are projects going on, I don't deny it, which were presented here the other day. Rainwater gardens, what are the other things? Storm catching sewers and stuff. I believe this, to some extent, there has been a lot of work done. I mean, with that amount of money, you got to do something, right? But if this is a revenue stream for the sanitary authority and for the municipality, Mr. Brown and the council has still not explained the line item in the budget that says there's a certain amount of money, I think it's over $100,000 or $200,000, supposedly used. I know it was explained by Mr. McCormick a couple times. But why is it listed as a revenue item, Mr. McCormick? It's $200,000 of revenue or whatever coming in from the sanitary authority to use, and we get reimbursed. It's a complicated formula to me. Maybe I'm not so intelligent, as some of you other people. But I'm still in the dark about this. And I think to take money under false pretenses like this from individuals who are struggling to maintain, in some cases, their property, in some cases, put food on the table. You go by here at night and see the number of homeless people on the street. Mr. Brown, you supposedly solved that problem, but I don't think it's solved. Let me just get to another point here, because I only have a couple minutes left. The purchase of this hospital, I was not privy to the facts when I spoke last time before council. Maybe Mr. Brown could enlighten us as to why he pushed this approval by council of $180 million to go forward with this project. I want to know personally, and I talked to somebody today who didn't have any knowledge of it, but who has told me that this company, Woodbridge, or whoever it is, that's trying to buy this hospital, and it's going to now be, there's now going to be a total exemption from taxes. The city's going to lose $700,000 or something like that. The school district is going to lose millions. And they have already, even though they have not acquired the property, they've already gone before the Luzerne County Board of Assessment Appeals to appeal for this exemption, because the solicitor of the school district has told me this. Now, what I want to know, Mr. Brown, and from everybody else who knows about this, maybe this came out at the council meeting and I missed it. Was there a gun figuratively held to the city's head that that hospital was going to close if this deal didn't go forward? Because if that was the case, that you guys approved this deal and that was the situation, I think you ought to be ashamed of yourself. Maybe this happened, under the radar, maybe we didn't know about it, that they were going to close because they're losing money unless this deal went through. Listen, are we all being naive here? I mean, we know why this deal is going to go through. I mean, $180 million that they're going to float a bond issue to acquire this, and then we're going to lose all this tax revenue. People are going to make money. Woodbridge and who owns that hospital? Commonwealth Health can make out like bandits in the process. And you, Mr. Brown, as to be so naive, I don't know what your rationale is. I'd like maybe you to explain it again, because this is an important item. If the city's going to lose $700,000 or whatever that figure is by this takeover, how are you going to compensate for that, Mr. Brown? You took out a TAN note or something like that if this budget of yours goes through. I think there should be another budget hearing besides the one hearing held at 5 o'clock. The people get to talk for 5 minutes. I say right now to people in attendance here, bring all your friends in this budget hearing and protest it, because it's a very smoke and mirrors budget. Mr. Brown is counting on revenue. He's counting on revenue to come in from sources that this is pie in the sky stuff. It may not even happen. But next year, okay, you got away with it this year, but next year everybody can tell the writing on the wall. Taxes are going to have to go up significantly, or the city's going to have to seek some help from the state, to take over from the state to avert that. And the one main reason will be this takeover here. If you can explain the rationale why you would push this thing forward, Mr. Brown, why you guys voted for it, if the city's going to lose revenue, if they threaten to close, I think that's not a good reason. If there's another reason I'm missing here, more people for hire or something.
Thank you, Mr. Troy. Any comments?
Yeah, I'll comment on the hospital. I explained myself after the vote, and I'll explain it now. So I did vote for it. I struggled with my vote. I'm going to explain it to you.
No back and forth, Mr. Troy.
My reason for voting for it is there's 1,000 employees that work there. That I had spoken to people, and I did days of research. If that hospital closes, that's 1,000 employees. But they also, during their presentation, I'm not sure if you were here for their presentation, they are planning expanding their services and hiring more people. They're also planning on doing 30 million, I believe, 70.
I'm sorry.
Mr. Troy.
They're going to hire more people?
They are hiring more people and bringing back services that were taken away.
Was that written in stone?
That's their plan. I mean, I unfortunately can only go by.
Mr. Troy.
You asked for my explanation, that's my explanation. I have to.
Mr. Troy.
$744,000. I agree, but a loss of a hospital and 1,000 jobs also.
Mr. Troy.
It does not. If that hospital closes and we lose 1,000 employees and revenue of $744,000, then what do? We have a hospital that's right there.
Mr. Troy. Hey.
That's my reason, that's why I voted for it.
They did threaten that.
Mr. Troy.
Can I get a straight answer? That's all I want is a straight answer on it.
No back and forth, Mr. Troy. Any other public comments? Are we done with that? Any other comments? Good. Motion to adjourn?
Motion.
People have no courage at all. No ethics, no courage.
Can you see if the sanitary authority will put that presentation online?
Well, no, I guess not.
Just so.
I'll ask about it.
Yeah.
I'll ask about it.
Just so if like the